Okay, I got my alert.
Yes.
I haven't on my tablet yet, but I got it on my screen.
Okay.
All right, we're live.
Yes, we're live. Start 1 second. I'm just going to post this in the Telegram.
Is Zencaster recording? Sorry about that.
Hi, everyone. Started the recording in Zencaster. Good. Okay. So welcome everyone to the Cardano Effect podcast, episode 46. The purpose of this podcast is to take high-level developer information and projects that are occurring within the Cardano space and break them down into bite-sized, consumable pieces of information for everyday use. I'm your host, Philippe, and let's get this podcast started. So it's Rick and myself today, and this is our weekly live stream where we recap everything that happened within the Cardano project for the week. I want to thank everyone for showing up today. It's a Sunday, so we appreciate your time, and we're just going to have a nice and relaxed episode. I don't think that too many things happened this week. Rick and I have been discussing, but we have some things that we need to talk about. We shot a podcast yesterday, which was wonderful. It's going to be out later in the week, midweek, I suppose. It was all about red test penetration, and we're talking about hacking and security. And I think that everyone that's holding ADA and using Daedalus or Yoroi can get something out of this, whether you are a beginner or whether you are an expert. We started off very elementary, and we graduated as the episode progressed. So it was a wonderful episode. So I want to welcome everyone. Hi, everyone. I see everyone in the chat. We're going to get to chat questions today as well. I just want to remind everyone that none of what we say is financial advice. Remember, you are your best financial advisor. And if you don't think you are, you need to find someone who's qualified to do so. So without further ado, Rick, how are you doing this morning? What's going on? How's your Sunday?
Doing great, Philippe. Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. And yeah, we did have a great recording yesterday with the red team penetration testers. You guys are really going to enjoy that. We touched on individual users and their computers and mobile devices. And we also touched on the advanced stuff, running a stake pool node, securing it, and relay nodes. So look forward to that episode. Estimated time of release is going to be Wednesday. So probably be out on Wednesday. I'd like to give a big thank you and a shout out to IOHK, the sponsors of this podcast. Thank you, IOHK, for sponsoring this podcast. We very much appreciate it. And we also have a lot of news coming out of Emurgo from last week. So I got my Emurgo t-shirt on. I'm repping Emurgo. You know, it's like wearing your favorite sports team t-shirt. So I have that going on. And this week, we're still doing our Reddit news. So if you want to go to the Cardano Reddit and sort by weekly and top, you'll be on the same list of links that we have here. Philippe, I'm going to roll right over to our Emurgo Twitter feed. Does that sound good?
That sounds great.
Okay, I'm going to touch on that here. And it's because Emurgo had a lot of stuff going on last week. So I'm on Emurgo.io Twitter feed. And also check out Nicolas Oqueros and Sebastian Guillemot's Twitter feed and Keisha's. Check out their Twitter feeds. That's where a lot of the news is going on. One of the cool things from last week that came out, Nico tweeted out a demo of using Yoroi to stake. He's got a demo in here. I was going to make an attempt at a screen share, Philippe. Let me go for it. Sound good? Okay.
Go for it.
The only way to do it is to do it, right? You can't make it on without breaking some eggs. So let me share that out. And I'll go to the video. In case you haven't seen it, I have it here on my screen, and it shows the delegation process. So check out Nico's Twitter feed if you want to get another look at this and replay it. It shows a rough idea. Again, this is notional, still in the experimental phases. He says that in his tweet. So check this out. And I'm excited. I am just beside myself with joy. Daedalus in the IOHK GitHub, they've published screenshots of what the Daedalus staking center looks like. Yoroi has the staking center. So once we get through the networking phase and the rewards phase and it launches, the tools are ready. The tools for staking are ready. So the underlying technology might take a little bit more time to get that out there, but the tools are ready to go. So I dropped my screen share, clear of that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, cool. And a few other things that I wanted to hit on the Emurgo news from last week, massive amounts. You can check out Sebastian's Twitter feed also. It's also on the Reddit links. Last week, Emurgo released Tangata Manu, which is the replacement for Icarus. It's the newer version. So if there's any developers out there using Icarus, check out Sebastian Guillemot's Twitter feed or follow the links to the Emurgo GitHub. On the Emurgo GitHub, there's a link to Tangata Manu, and the abstract, I'm going to read that off. Tangata Manu is a tool to import Cardano blockchain data into an easily usable database storage, for example, Postgres. And the main goal of the project is to provide the main middle layer functionality and allow easy connection for new custom data storage connectors or data provider connectors, basically allowing to read blockchain data from any source with an API. For example, different full node implementations, and export it into any custom storage or database that you connect. So it's like the underlying infrastructure. One real big thing coming out of Emurgo last week, there was a slightly smaller thing. Emurgo HK is restructuring. I'll give you a brief synopsis of that. Emurgo HK would like to announce the restructuring of its business operations. It looks like they have new leadership in place. It will cease to exist in its present form and will pursue a different direction. We want to throw this new direction to make our services clearer and our business more efficient in order for the community to have more clarity. We wish to continue to drive some ongoing projects on one hand and ensure the Cardano community has absolute clarity on the other. Therefore, we have chosen there's 2 points. 1, gracefully hand over all assets and social media accounts related to the Emurgo brand to the Emurgo global team. I call that Emurgo proper or Emurgo Japan. So that'll be back to the global team. This includes all social media accounts, Emurgo Cardano branded projects, such as Emurgo Update Space, Empuris, and Emurgo Glance. Point number 2, under the leadership of Alex Hayashi. So Alex Hayashi is in charge now. The rebranded company will continue to work on business such as the IronX project and contribute to Cardano's growth. So congratulations and well done for that, Emurgo HK. Good to see you in action. That's pretty awesome. Third major news point coming out of Emurgo last week, and there were many others, so check out their Twitter feed, was the Rowi wallet staking example, which I showed earlier. So we've got the 3 big things: staking, Tangata Manu, Emurgo HK restructuring, plus lots of other stuff, including the contest for entering entering your video. They did a contest for doing videos, and you can see that also out on there on Twitter. I've seen Carlos, Chris, and a couple other people, Brittany, posted some videos out there. The I Love Cardano videos. I believe that contest is over. I'll check on that. Fourth major thing was on Sebastian's Twitter feed. He did a summary with all the work for Cardano in July with the new Shelley Blockchain Explorer, WebAssembly library, and the Yoroi Daedalus groundwork for Shelley and more. So, all right, that gets us up and running on the news, gave people some time to dial in, and ready for Reddit, Philippe?
Yes, that sounds good. That sounds good. I have a couple of thoughts that I would like to share about a couple of the new releases this week, but I guess we can get to them later in the episode. Do you want to cover some YouTube questions first before we hit the Reddit, or do you want to just go straight into Reddit?
Yeah, sure. Let's see what the viewers have to say. This is for you guys, and we're trying to, again, get more engaging, more. We want to keep Cardano fun, and I know you all do as well. So even when it seems like development might be a little slow, we could still have a lot of fun in enjoying this project.
Yes.
You want to lead us off, Philippe, with some anything in the chat?
So thanks everyone for joining. I'm seeing welcome messages from everyone. I hear that Reg D says Charles is in Vancouver in a couple of weeks. Yeah, I believe that the ETC summit is in a couple of weeks, if I'm not mistaken. Maybe that's the reason why he's in Vancouver. I'm not 100% sure. We also have a question from Randy Ellis. Can any other blockchains say they have the same engagement as Cardano? I'm sort of biased as I don't follow others, but I would like to know. Interesting. I mean, I'm not as involved in other blockchain projects as I am in Cardano, but I'm sure there are some vibrant communities behind other blockchain projects. But Cardano is unique. It's we have a very unique community here, and we do definitely have a lot of engagement. You want to add anything to that, Rick?
Yeah, I know EOS has 2 podcasts at least, and they have a lot of YouTube videos as well. And Stellar has recently done a massive space drop. to get people using Keybase. But in Cardano, I think we have the most YouTubers. We just had Hashoshi just released a massive video. Lark released one this morning about 8 or 9 hours ago. Both of those are Cardano based. We have the Cardano Effect podcast, the Cardano Community podcast. Carlos just started a channel. Check out Carlos's channel. I would try to pronounce his last name, but I want to mess it up. And so there's lots of YouTube content, lots of writers on Medium. You got Max writing articles on Medium, 16-year-old out there writing articles. I'm like, they're really good too. So massive engagement, lots of information out there to look forward to. So I think Cardano is up there with the best. Absolutely.
Yes.
And I'm not just being a cheerleader, man. I'm fired up. I had my coffee this morning. Good.
We have another question from, let's see, it just disappeared. 1 second. Oh, Carlo Peternell said that 28th is the anniversary. I expect to have on that date Shelly out and running so I can stake and earn my extra ADA by helping the network running. Shelly won't be live on the 28th. 28th will be an announcement for the incentivized testnet, which will probably be released sometime in November. So you definitely will not be staking on the 28th. I don't want to ruin your expectations, but that's not a possibility.
Can I give my unqualified estimates on that?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure. So I go by percentages. I've downgraded the possibility of Shelly being released in December to about 70%, which is still good. That's kind of like 60 to 70% is good. 50% is red zone. That becomes a coin toss. So it's still a probability of releasing in December of 2019. I just have a slightly lower confidence. I'm highly confident, above 90% confident that the networking phase in the testnet will be released by or in October. And the rewards version on the testnet, Shelly on the testnet, will be by the end of November. I'm expecting that. That's just my opinion. And I would say 90% testnet networking and 90% confidence on the rewards on the testnet by the end of November. That's just my own personal estimate. I have no inside intel on that. And because my confidence level is 90% Shelly by the end of November, then that makes me push it back towards end of December, maybe early 2020 for a Shelly release, due to the fact that my anticipation is we're going to have to test which rewards work on the testnet. So the technology will be working and the technology could be releasable, but we have to test the humans, and testing the humans takes longer. I mean, it takes time. You know what I mean? We got to make sure the stake pool node operators are ready to operate the stake pool. And we have to make sure when the humans delegate stake, they see the appropriate response on the network, that people are going, okay, I'm getting a reward. Now I'm going to do something correctly. And then ultimately we're going to have to test the attack resistance. I think that's going to take time. That's just my opinion. All right. I'll get off that soapbox. Sorry. More questions and on to Reddit. Yes, sir.
Sounds good. We also have another question from Michael Bellin. Will not be a node. It just requires to sync blocks. Oh, this is Udoi is a light wallet which uses trusted endpoints to interface with transactions or check the balance. Oh, this was not a question, just responding to another comment. But Max Lettenberger says, what's your favorite elevator pitch from the Reddit post for a few days ago? I was not familiar with that Reddit post. Maybe we can cover it today. I don't know. Did you read that?
No, I don't understand what the Reddit, the elevator pitches are, but we'll check whenever we get to the Reddit.
Yes.
But the top post is fantastic. It's from an author named Elliot. There was an interview with Elliot. We'll get to that on the first post. If we missed that, please let us know in the chat. Let us know what you mean by the elevator pitch.
Yes.
Because I know there's just a little bit in there. It might have dropped below the top 10 weekly if it's more than 6 days old.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Mark Nywoff says, yes, Rick, Cardano is the best. Agree 1,000%. Hell yeah.
Envios Diretos says, is ADA Lite safe to store ADA? I've never used ADA Lite before, but I believe that they have Trezor support. So using a hardware wallet on top of ADA Lite, I think that's pretty much secure. I would use Udoi and Daedalus, to tell you the truth. I would get familiar with Daedalus because staking is going to come out. And I don't think the ADA Lite team is going to be releasing staking day one. So you want to make sure that you're familiar with the main platforms first and then go towards the auxiliary platforms afterwards. Just a friendly piece of advice.
Yeah. And I like the idea of having a lot of dataless nodes out there so that there's many, many instances of the blockchain, because once it decentralizes, those dataless nodes will be talking to each other to synchronize. And I think, just my opinion, the more nodes, the better.
Yes. Yes. Let's jump over to Reddit
Right
and
on.
then come back to the YouTube questions.
Oh, Michael Bellin says, show my platform, bro. Michael, post it in there. What's your platform? Let us know what it is. On to
Yes.
Reddit. All right. On to
Okay.
Reddit.
You want to take the first Reddit post, Rick?
Yeah, sure. Okay. It's a great one. This post is: the most promising language I'm aware of right now is the Haskell-based Plutus language developed by IOHK for the Cardano platform, but it hasn't yet gone live on mainnet, so it's impossible to tell you how much traction it will get. This is from Eric Elliott. This was an interview on inside.com. If you follow the link to Inside Bitcoin, it says inside.com. It's called Inside Bitcoin. If you follow the link, there are several paragraphs where Eric does a interview with several questions. Scroll down several paragraphs. He has 1, 2, 3, 4. Third question down says, what programming languages are most used for dApp development and which offer the biggest benefits? And he goes on to say JavaScript, React, Redux, and Solidity, which currently is. But at the bottom of that part of the interview question, he says, the most promising language I'm aware of right now is the Haskell-based Plutus language developed by OHK. That's where it comes in. You got to go about halfway down through the interview, and he's being objective, and yet that sentence, it's like a gold nugget buried in there for me as a Cardano fan. And I'm like, whoa. So that's the key. That's the title of the article posted on Reddit, is that response to Eric's interview. So thank you for the interview, Eric, and getting that post out there. And thank you to the Reddit users for keying in on that and finding that gold nugget in there. That post was from Landon Hardcastle. And there's a second post. It's 3 down from Vanderkant. And that was from a day ago. So that post hit the top 10 in 2 instances. That was good stuff.
Yes. And if people are not familiar, Cardano uses Haskell, which is, you can consider it a proprietary language of the project. And it's nothing like the other crypto projects out there, the other blockchain projects out there that use a variety of different languages. And this is one of the things that led me to this project. First of all, Haskell is a very secure language, and it uses certain principles that allow for greater security, that mitigates risk. And, you know, we are transacting funds here. So the smallest amount of wallet risk is where I want to put my money at. So Haskell with Cardano, it's a great marriage. And I think that this Plutus platform, once it goes live, which is supposed to go live 1 quarter after the mainnet of the Shelley release. So I'm anticipating sometime within the year 2020, maybe mid 2020, depending on when Shelley releases the mainnet. It's supposed to go 1 quarter after. So once that releases, we're going to see exactly the developer interest and see what is happening as far as what applications are going to be built. I would like to remind everyone that the YO Hackathon is happening relatively soon, and they're going to have a hackathon of the current Plutus testnet that's out. And then shortly after, they're going to be releasing a new version of Plutus. So I'm not sure if this is the first time that they're doing a hackathon for exclusively Plutus, but it should be interesting to see developer feedback from what's going on. And I think that we'll be able to share those stories in the future and see what dApps, and we can predict what's going to be built on the platform, whether they're going to be financial applications, whether they're going to be things that you can just write down certain, for example, if we have certain contracts or we need to put certain items on the blockchain, we're going to see exactly what the Plutus capabilities are and how we're going to move forward. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Yeah, and you will see a lot coming out of that. Here's a list of some of the things that the author from the previous article put out was things that could be changed by blockchain: banks, insurance companies, real estate, stock exchange, stock options. Now, those are gigantic. Those are $1 trillion markets. So it's going to take a while to get to that point. I think I'll see small dApp games and video games first, while the developers cut their teeth and practice their skills. You're not going to practice your skills on $1 trillion market. You're going to practice your skills on a smaller market whenever they start practicing Plutus. There are some issues with Solidity where Plutus is going to solve those problems. So like Philippe said, we'll see from the Plutus hackathon event, YO hackathon next month, or in the coming week, we'll see how those developers doing. That was a good point, Philippe.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Any comments in the chat? Let me check that out. Did they cover your always staking progress video clip that was posted to Twitter? Yeah, we posted that earlier. That was from Gerald G.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, Mark Newhoff. Got his name right. He said, just look at what IOHK has done with Marlowe. Lego Mindstorm for crypto. Yep, Marlowe also. We talked about Plutus, but look forward to what happens with Marlowe.
Yes. Definitely.
Yep. Okay, looks good. Ready for the next Reddit thread?
Yes. The next Reddit thread is the Emurgo. It's posted from Zach Soilo. And this is Emurgo is excited to announce the release of Tangata Manu to the Cardano community. Rick was talking about this earlier. I have a few thoughts about Tangata Manu. I mean, I don't know much about the project. I've read what was presented. I briefly went through the GitHub. Once again, I'm not a developer, so these are just my thoughts. Personally, my thoughts are that Tangata Manu, it's great. I mean, this is supposed to be the open source library to allow people to create wallets and all these different things, all these different features that are going to help people transact within the Cardano community or transact ADA. But my only issue is Tangata Manu it was inspired by Icarus, which is written in Rust. And, I would prefer the wallet software to be written in Haskell. So I prefer Haskell versus Rust because there are various different blockchain projects that use Rust, including Ethereum Parity used Rust, and there was the Parity hack, and they use multi-signature transactions as well within Parity. And there was a huge hack where 513,000 Ethereum were stolen from a total of 587 wallets. And these were people that were interacting with certain dApps and certain applications within the Ethereum ecosystem. And it was determined that the fault wasn't the Solidity code. It was actually the Rust code that was being built by this company, this auxiliary company of Ethereum, Parity. So there are issues with Rust. And part of Cardano's mantra is to have financially secure transactions. And that financial security is going to be, in my thought, or my vision for Cardano, is going to be written in Haskell. So whenever I see applications being written in Rust that are going to deal with the wallet interface for users, I'm a little bit dubious because there have been hacks before. And we can't just throw in the words, Cardano developers are better than Ethereum developers, because that's not really necessarily true. Developers are developers, and they're going to use the tools presented to themselves. There may be more talented developers that are developing for Parity than they're going to be developing projects for the Rust client within Cardano. So Rust, I looked it up. It's built for systems programming, game development, and high performance computing. So those applications have nothing to do with wallet software and transacting money from party A to party B. Once again, there was a hack using Rust, using Ethereum Parity. So I am dubious whether or not the same thing could happen to Cardano. And just because we're Cardano fans doesn't mean we have to blindly say that our code is going to be written 100% accurately, because, at the end of the day, I don't want my wallet stolen. I don't want my funds frozen, because say we're interacting within the blockchain and we have certain things that we're interacting with certain dApps, and we have wallets here and here and here, and all of a sudden there's a huge hack and it's bad for everyone, or bad for the people affected. So once again, yeah, those are my thoughts. And I could be completely wrong. I could be missing the boat completely. And once again, I'm not approaching this from a developer perspective. I'm just approaching it from a research perspective. And yeah, so sorry about that rant, Rick. I'll pass it back over to you.
That's okay, man. You can bet on football teams without playing football, right?
Yes. Yes.
So you don't have to be a developer to say, hey, I think this one's a better angle, because we've known based on the researchers we talked to on this program, on the Cardano effect, that Plutus and Haskell is more easily verified. So maybe there's a business out there to be created. Someone could create a business on verifying the smart contracts and checking them for holes, because there's currently another major cryptocurrency up in the top 20 region that is they have a casino under attack where someone figured out a problem with the code and someone keeps attacking that casino and winning. They found what the hole is. We don't know what it is, but it happens. Yes. I don't want to see that happen on Cardano. In my opinion, it causes a loss of credibility of the blockchain. But it also depends on if a software engineer writes malicious code that's designed to do something wrong, is there going to be an organization out there that checks code and says, hey, that smart contract is valid, and if you use it, you're safe, which is high. It's high risk to say that, to say you're safe. You're putting a lot on the line. Or say, hey, this smart contract is malicious. I don't know if it's possible to do that, but I don't see why not. You know what I mean?
Yes. Rick, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was going to say, like, if someone makes an online betting game and they put the odds, they say the odds are 50-1, when in reality they're 100-1. Me as the average guy, I'm not a programmer. I'm not going to know if that is wrong. I'm going to have to rely on the software engineers and someone out there to tell me, hey, that smart contract doesn't do what they say it does.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm relying on the Saturn network. Saturn network's pretty cool and open. I mean, they know what that code does. But you don't know if a casino in the background, you know what's running in the background.
Exactly. And I'd like to add to that IOHK and Emurgo, we trust their teams, we trust their processes, but if they're developing open source software that's going to allow third parties to create wallet software using the software that they put out for the community, those can have an issue. And they may not even be malicious hackers. They just may have written it wrong. And there have been several issues with Rust implementations for wallets for different blockchains. And I think it's a little bit presumptuous for us to think that the same thing couldn't happen to us. We had the red test. We had pro level hackers yesterday on the Cardano effect. And let me tell you, these people are serious. So they were showing us all the different things, all the different attacks that they do to test blockchains. And it's no joke. I mean, they're working, they're employed, they have contracts with government institutions, and their job is to they're white hat hackers and sometimes gray hat hackers, but at the same time their job are to just completely break systems. And when it deals with money, they're coming to steal. People are coming to steal. So we just have to be careful of that in the future.
Yeah. Nolorian does a live hack too. He says, here's a connection, and he hacks it right there on the podcast.
Yeah.
It took him like a minute. I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe he did that. And then James told us a social engineering story that just blew my mind. And I'm like, holy cow, I could have fallen for that.
Yeah.
You won't believe what these hackers are doing, man. They're capable. I'm glad they're good guys. We have good guys on our podcast. These are the good guy hackers. Yeah. We'll have a separate podcast where if we get a credible source who believes they can attack the Cardano protocol. Now, these hackers were attacking those. We want to get hackers who are willing to attack the Cardano protocol. We have no credible sources. There were two people. One of them was Zach, and the other one, who's that guy? Elliot? Not credible. I don't care if they wrote a white paper. I could write a white paper. I could copy and paste somebody else's. They're not credible, so we're not going to bring them on a podcast. No promo, no credit, right? You know what I mean, Philippe?
Yeah.
They're not credible sources. If we get someone who has a credible, I don't know, theory on how you could defeat Cardano, aside from 51% attack or a stake bleeding attack, yeah, sure, we'll bring them on. But they have to have credibility. Sorry.
Oh, definitely. No, definitely.
So far, we have no takers. No one has responded to that tweet.
Yeah, no one that's credible.
No one has taken us up on the white paper challenge, and no one has taken us up on the attack Ouroboros challenge. Now, the attack node challenge, yes, we have the red team but
yes,
we still have the biggest white paper on earth, man. And a lot of that code is written. It's not on mainnet, but the code is there.
Rick, I would be interested to see if we can get in the future, if we have someone credible and they're more on the malicious side, we can figure out, we can vet and figure out what we need to do to get this person on. And
yeah, they can wear a ski mask.
Yeah,
they can use a voice digitizer, wear their voice like this, whatever. I'm fine with that.
And we may have to do it. We may have to record it from a public library to protect ourselves.
Oh my God! Yeah,
because these people are serious. These people are serious. So yeah,
I was worried having hackers on the podcast. I'm like, did they just hack our YouTube channel?
Yeah. So okay. You want to jump to the comments a little bit?
Yeah, but I got Sebastian on here. It's really late in Japan right now. It's like 1:30 in the morning. And Sebastian said, to hack with EOS is not really a hack. It's an abuse of EOS's gas mechanisms, which you can do with every blockchain, including Ethereum, Bitcoin, etc. So I'm not sure what he's referring to there. And he goes on to say, Cardano is arguably both more and less vulnerable to this attack because there's no gas economy for Cardano transactions. We used fixed price. So you both can't abuse high transaction costs, but also you can't defend by cracking the fee on your own transactions. Awesome. Thank you, Sebastian. The smartest guy in the world just showed up on chat. Yay! No,
that makes sense. That makes sense. So that's why they have fixed transactions within Cardano to prevent those type of attacks. I guess. Would the EOS attack, would that be considered like a DDoS attack, like just spamming transactions repeatedly until you just clog the network and win every single gambling reward? I'm not sure what classification of that attack would be.
Well, it depends on how they did the attack. I don't know. I mean, I read the article, but I didn't want to go into the specifics because I don't want to bash other coins. The same thing could happen to Cardano, just less likely. But I thought it was an exploit in the software for the game, not in EOS.
Okay.
That it happened on, but in the code that somebody wrote. You know what I mean?
Yes.
The blockchain might be fine. The base that it runs on might be fine. It's just the code. Like ERC20 tokens. They have ERC20s that were super popular last year, have 2 errors and 2 defects. The defect isn't quite an error, but it's got 2 errors and 2 defects. It's still very popular.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Sebastian is supporting the team there on the chat. Next one, sir. You ready?
Okay. Sounds good. Next Reddit thread. You want to get this next one?
Yeah. The next one was also the interview. We're going to skip down to breaking down the Cardano roadmap. This was from Hishoshi on his YouTube channel. If you're not subscribed to Hishoshi, I highly recommend it. He has another YouTube on Plutus. Hishoshi is an Ethereum developer, and he is also studying up on Plutus. I hope he's at the WIO Hackathon next week, but he is extremely busy. We communicate with Hishoshi on a regular basis, and we to collaborate and bounce ideas off each other. And his schedule's packed full. He's got his regular work plus his YouTube channel. His YouTube channel is super high-end pro. Check out that link. Upvote him. Subscribe. Massively awesome channel. So he does the Cardano roadmap where he summarizes the history with the names Basho or Basho, pronounced correctly, Basho, Voltaire, Byron, and the connection between Byron and Shelley and Goguen. And so he touches on the history and also looks at the way ahead beyond 2020. It's an excellent summary. He's an awesome storyteller. You got to check it out. Props to Hishoshi. Keep it up, bro. Keep it up, man.
Definitely.
And he's another one of those populators like CryptoVisor, because Hishoshi does all different blockchains. So he has people who like EOS and Tezos and Stellar, or people that watch his videos that are related to other blockchains. Then the Cardano ones come up. He's got a lot of street cred. So you got people from other ecosystems watching Cardano related material, which is awesome. I like that.
Yes. We need that because Rick and I, we only we're only visible within this community more or less. So we need people to bridge that gap from other communities, which is wonderful.
Yeah, we do that. We're Cardano centric, and we're going to stay Cardano centric, at least on this podcast and also on our side channels. And then folks like him connect the bridges together. So,
yes.
And that's a good business model.
Yes.
All right. So that was number 4 on the list. And the next one on the list was the Emurgo Tangata Manu on Reddit. So Emurgo is excited to announce the release of Tangata Manu to the ADO community.
Okay.
And
I think I skipped to that one.
Oh, sorry about that.
Yeah. So I think I did that one. We just did that one.
And that was by Reddit user Zach Solier. Oh, yeah. Zach Solier. Is that French? Does that mean solar or sun?
Soleil? No, yeah. Soleil would be sun. So like, I don't know. Maybe it's a derivation of that. So.
All right. Well, thank you for posting that, Zach. It links to the GitHub Emurgo Tangata Manu. And he goes on to say the developers will be able to power wallets and explorers from this Shelley compatible open source library. So it gets you to the GitHub, and there's a lot of user comments related to that. Can you explain? Someone says, can you explain this in layman terms? No. I'm sorry. Sebastian's on the chat. Maybe Sebastian can. What does Tangata Manu do in layman's terms? I described it earlier on the podcast that it is a library that connects. If you have a web service and you want to make a call, like I have a website and I want to reach the blockchain, Tangata Manu will allow me to connect through an API. Layman's terms.
Yep.
An API is an application programming interface, which means connect to the web, connect to the internet thing. Cool. Yes. Okay. All right. Let's go to the next one there. That was awkward.
Okay.
That was awkward because You got the next one?
Yeah. So the next one is European exchange KaiserX listed Cardano today, 18 trading pairs available. This was posted by Dealeris, and there's a disclosure saying that the person that posted this is the owner of this exchange. I looked up to the exchange. It's brand new. It has no traffic. So this is, while this is great, I mean, I think that anything Cardano related gets upvoted. I don't think it's just another exchange to me. I don't think it's adding any sort of liquidity. It's great that there's trading pairs, and it's of course available in Europe because I don't think that this could pass in the US with the stringent laws. But yeah, it's wonderful. You run an exchange, you're listing Cardano, go for it. So
yeah, that puts us up to 108. Last week we had 107 different listings with ADA and other pairs between USDT, Bitcoin, and Ethereum. So and I just checked CoinMarketCap. We're up to 108. 108.
We need a Coinbase, and we need ATMs as well. We need our own version of ATMs, like the Bitcoin ATMs.
Yep. I'm seeing those pop up. I was up in DC a couple weeks ago. I went to a regular ATM at a gas station.
Yeah.
And it had the Bitcoin logo on it.
Yeah. I have never used an ATM machine for Bitcoin, but I plan to use one in the future, and maybe I'll make a video about it, how easy it is. And hopefully we can get some, but I don't think ADA is going to be added to an ATM machine until we have some sort of regulation. I mean, Bitcoin is the only, it seems like it's the only one that can kind of skirt the rules. Ethereum as well, but yeah. So
yep. It'll get there. It will get there. Yep. The Cheops pyramid wasn't built in a day. And that was from user Dealeris. Thank you, Dealeris.
Yes.
For getting those Reddit posts up. We appreciate you guys getting this information posted and well organized. The next one comes from user General Zod. And the general posts that the team is putting in that work. He wrote the article. In his article, he says, I don't know about you, but on the average day, I find myself checking CardanoUpdates.com. Me too. Not daily, but at least weekly. CardanoUpdates.com. Even though I don't know what 80% of it means, that's okay. I typically dive in to get a closer look at the comments and codes, and I'm just amazed by the amount of legit comments and code structure and additions. So on CardanoUpdates.com, you will see a plethora of updates, like 1,000 per day, of inputs to GitHub. These are not spelling error updates. These are major code updates and pull requests. I don't even know what a pull request is, but it's there. The only pull I request is pulled pork, but it's in there. You check out CardanoUpdates.com, like you described there. And he's amazed by the amount of legitimate comments. The ProleteR team appears to be getting ready for their day to shine. It seems like they're just sweeping up the shop, fixing the decor and the signage, and preparing for opening day. In addition to the Rust, Haskell, Yoroi teams appear to be going full steam ahead. So if you go to Cardano Updates, it's broken out into, you have all of the data, and then you can go to the Emurgo or the Yoroi or the Rust updates. You can see that on CardanoUpdates.com if you haven't seen that website. You know what else is another really good website, Philippe? Adascan.net. I highly recommend go to adascan.net. On the left-hand side, click on charts. And there are charts that slice up the Cardano blockchain into all different manners. One of them is, one thing I noticed yesterday, I was looking at it, 46%, it was either 42 to 46% of all ADA is stored in wallets that have 10 million or more. But don't let that intimidate you. I was doing research and posting it on the Cardano Effect Telegram channel. Another interesting thing is that if there's 1,000 stake pools, now this math is not precise, but if there's 1,000 stake pools and you look at the top 1,000 wallets and you count down to 1,000, wallet number 1,000 has 3 million ADA. That doesn't mean you have to have 3 million ADA to run a stake pool. Okay. Because some of those wallets are multiple addresses of whales. So I would take off some high percentage of those numbers and pile them all into one person owns that. Now, looking under the hood, there was an IOHK paper posted that's linked in the Cardano Effect forum explaining how the staking pool rewards will work. I recommend you check out that IOHK paper. It defines the AO value, the A0 value, and how percentages will work. So you won't need, 3 million ADA to run a pool. If you are a good promoter and you can get in contact with the community and make the connections, you can run a pool with less than 3 million ADA, I estimate. I'm only going to guess at that. I'm not saying for certain, but based on the IOHK math that's in those papers, it looks quite reasonable to do that. If you can promote and contact people, you could probably run a pool with less than 3 million ADA, but that's just my guesstimate. All right. So I just want to pass that along to you guys. Make sure you check out the Telegram channel. All right. Any questions in the thread, Philippe?
We see Jeff says, is the second phase of the testnet live? No, it is not. We're going to be hearing more about the incentivized testnet September 28th. I believe that's the date IOHK said. And we should receive the incentivized testnet by year's end. I'm guessing November, maybe a little bit after that. But no, the testnet is not live yet. The incentivized testnet is not live. Someone else asked, let me see. Diesel Hound said, what is considered a whale? Once again, go on adascan.net and do some back of the envelope calculations, but there's no fixed amount that it's considered a whale. Some people would look at you with 10,000 ADA and consider you a whale. Other people would, it's all subjective. What do you constitute? What is a whale? Someone that can move the markets. If it's that, it's probably much higher. But if it's just someone that you feel like has a lot of bags, I don't think there's a fixed amount that considers you a whale. Yeah. And price is changing constantly. So, it changes on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah. I call a whale the top 1%. And that is the numbers I just gave. So yeah. The top 1,000 wallet has 3 million ADA. I would say 3 million ADA is a whale. 3 million and higher, I'd call that a whale because that puts you in the top 1%.
Yeah. The top 1%, or is that just the top 1,000 addresses?
Well, that's the top 1,000 addresses out of, wow, that's not even 1%. That's the top 1,000 addresses out of 300,000 addresses which is not individual wallets. So
Okay.
that's only an estimate. So I would say the top 0.3% of addresses is 3 million and higher. I would put that in the whale zone.
Okay.
So it's probably something lower than 3 million. So between 1 and 3 million. Yeah. So
because the top 1%, if you're the top 1% of addresses, I think I did the calculations maybe a couple weeks ago. It was like, I think you have to have at least like 1.2 million ADA to be the top 1% of wallet holders.
yeah, but the only thing we can look at are addresses. We don't know what the wallet holders are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I could take 5 million ADA if I had that. If I had that, I wouldn't be here right now. But if I had 5 million ADA, I could break it up into 5,000 wallets of 1,000 ADA each and hide.
Yeah.
And that's what I would do. And I would be driving a Porsche. So there you go. Save the polar bears and buy a Porsche.
Adonis Cruz says, hey guys, I'm a fan of the Cardano effect. Well, we appreciate you. I'm watching you guys from Honduras, Central America. Well, welcome. Glad to have you. Wayne Morgan says, is there anything to stop IOHK or Emurgo from dumping coins on us? Well, I would have to add and the foundation because they also hold wallets. No. I mean, the word dumping, it's relative. Selling, what is dumping versus what is selling? You know, you have to tell me the difference. But is there anything to stop people that are holding large amounts of ADA from selling? Absolutely not. They're going to sell eventually. People will liquidate their funds, whether that be the C-suite at any of those three entities. So, you know, just like you're going to sell at some point, people at IOHK will sell at some point. People at Emurgo will sell at some point, and people at the foundation will sell at some point.
Absolutely. If I was the chairman of the Cardano Foundation and ADA hit $1, I would set aside a chunk, run the math, sell it, and hire developers or hire community managers. You know, I would sell it and hire people.
Yeah,
that it makes sense.
Yeah,
totally, and absolutely dump them. If it's good, you know, when the price is up, dump them babies, hire people.
And then
because then the price will go up more.
Yes. And even individual people. I mean, Rick, we always talk about moon goals, Lambo goals here, but what about the people that are extremely wealthy already? Don't they have like yacht goals or something like that? So, you know, they already may have their Lambo, but maybe they're eyeing a yacht or something. I don't know. So eventually they're going to sell.
Yeah.
It's just
absolutely. And I'll tell you, I've seen it in the news is the on Keybase, Stellar is quote unquote dumping. They're not really dumping. They're doing a promotional where they've taken like 10 billion coins and they're distributing them among all the users. There's over 100 billion in Stellar, and whoever has a Keybase wallet prior to September 9th, they're just airdropping it. They call it a space drop. They're just space dropping it in. That's the same as dumping. They're giving it away for free. It devalued the coin a little bit by like a tiny percent, but it did. And who else is selling? Okay. Oh, last week I got to apologize. We kind of pissed off one of our viewers because we mentioned the selling that's going on Ripple. Well, it's a strategic selling. So apologize for pissing you off. I didn't mean to, I guess I said it the wrong way. But, you know, Ripple has the Ripple Foundation, the central authority has a lot of tokens and they're selling them off. Some people perceive that as dumping. So one of their community members wrote kind of an article that was critical of the selling. They have to sell. They, you know, I guess, I mean, to pay employees, right? Yeah. That's what I would do.
Yes. Yeah. I mean,
if your employees don't want paid in tokens, you got to pay them in cash.
Yeah. It only makes sense. If the project is still running, I wouldn't consider it dumping. You know, every single CEO in the Fortune 500, if you see the major guys, you see Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, you see Bill Gates. If you look at their equity over time in their companies, it has decreased. I mean, I think Jeff Bezos only owns 17% of Amazon now. He owned a lot more back in the past. And, you know, he recently got divorced. He even sold some more for his wife. I'm not trying to make any jokes here, but
no, I know.
But you know,
I think he sold it to stick it to her.
Warren Buffett the same. He has 35% now. Bill Gates has sold over time. He owns very small portions of Microsoft. Would you consider that dumping? I mean, company's still running. I can still buy an Xbox. I can still shop on Prime. I can still do any of these things. So eventually, over time, who knows? Jeff Bezos might own 4% of Amazon, and he still may be the richest person in the world.
Yeah.
You have to
dump it. I'll buy
it. Exactly. So, just like you have goals, everyone at IOHK has goals. They have their own things that they're going to work on. So, dumping, it's like you just expect people with large wallets just to hold for you and wait until you're ready to go out. And then you're like, okay, after I leave, then you can leave. But it doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Okay, so let's get on to the news. We got a couple more really big hits. We got Emurgo again.
Okay.
Thank you, General Zod, for writing that article. We appreciate that. Original content. Good stuff. The next one, go ahead, Philippe. You got it?
Okay, hold on.
If we know where we're at.
Hold on. Oh yeah, I just had General Zod. Okay. This one's from Zach Soilo again. Introducing Emurgo, introducing more merchants that are accepting ADA. Yeah, so there are more merchants. I think a hotel that is accepting ADA, more restaurants. It's a hotel, Palm Royal, in Kokusai Street, in Okinawa. So wait, I have a parallel to what we were just talking about before. Will the owners dump on us? So if you go to Okinawa right now with your ADA wallet, and you go purchase a room for a night at Hotel Royal Naha, aren't you considered dumping? I mean, you're spending your ADA, you're selling it. So you don't want anyone, like, that's dumping too. It's a smaller scale of dumping, but it's dumping. So encouraging people to spend the ADA and sell the ADA is a good thing, as long as the ecosystem keeps on growing. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah. I think people want to see scarcity and demand go up. But I really like the idea that there is currently 31 billion, eventually 45 billion ADA, because that will keep it in, I think, a reasonable demand versus availability to spend. Because once staking pools go online, there's a whole bunch of ADA that's going to be voluntarily held as which will take it out of circulation because people will want to hold it. And I'll give you an example. That's as opposed to Dash. If you want to run a Dash node, you have to commit 1,000 Dash. I don't believe it's locked per se, but you got to have at least 1,000 Dash committed to run the Dash node. So similar concept. I'll just leave it at that. Yeah, but that's awesome. You guys see that? Emurgo has all the news coming out last week. What's happening, I think, what's happened to me is I was focused on Shelly, staking. And I didn't even notice, but you got Emurgo over there doing all kinds of stuff, releasing code, making the business connections, giving developers the tools they need, making that staking interface. And it's like, wow. While we were looking that way, Emurgo's over there working their butts off. There's a tweet with Robert Kornacki and Nicholas Arqueros where they're talking about the Tangata Manu. Oh, and also the name Tangata Manu. It comes from somewhere. You have to Google that or bang it. It does mean Birdman. It does mean Birdman, and it comes from an island where they had some kind of contest, and it had to do with a guy, which is interesting because Icarus was the guy who tried to fly to the sun. And then Tangata Manu kind of follows the same theme. So neat stuff.
Okay.
All right. So thank you for posting that article. That was from our Reddit user, Zach Zolio again.
Okay. Yep.
And we have a few more on here. And it's approaching the top of the hour. We'll be wrapping up in about 6 or 7 minutes.
Yes.
About 7 to 10 minutes. So if you have any questions, make sure you get them in.
Okay. You want to grab a couple questions or you want to go back to Reddit?
Let's grab a couple questions. You get the questions and I'll scan Reddit.
Okay. So Jeff says, will any ADA be burned over time? No, not at all. ADA will be lost over time. That's a for sure. It's a inflationary currency now because once staking becomes released, once staking is released, of course, staking rewards will go all the way up to that 45 billion max supply. Right now, it's 31 billion. After we hit that 45 billion, then the transaction fees within the ecosystem are going to be used for staking fees, and then it's going to become a deflationary currency. So it will switch, but there will be no burns unless someone burns their own coins, or if you send it to a hacker or something. I mean, well, it's still in existence, but if you lose your private key, I guess that's considered a burn. And then someone said, Meek said, when ADA in general is accepted as a coin, there is no need of selling, just spending. I'm a European guy. Do I trust the dollar? Not even the euro is a stable coin. Yeah, I don't think that ADA, now that I'm 2 years into the project, I don't think that ADA is going to be necessarily accepted as a currency everywhere. Just because, I think there's going to have to be a stable coin built when smart contracts come out that communicates with ADA, because I don't see any retailer taking any sort of risk to accept ADA unless it's interoperable with the native currency. I mean, think about you running a small mom and pop shop or a small business, and you accept ADA for a product, and it decreases by 5% by the time the customer walks out that door. But if it could interoperate between a currency that exists within the fiat system, the US dollar, the euro, the yen, then they would be more incentivized to accept that currency. But no small time employer is going to take that risk. No medium-sized employer is going to take that risk. And no large employer is going to take that risk. There's a reason why Walmart prices, they don't scalp you on prices. It's not like if there's like, for example, if there's a natural disaster or there's a hurricane and you shop at Walmart, well, Walmart's not going to go and adjust the value of the water that they sell. It's not going to be like, oh, $5 a case, but it's a hurricane, so it's going to be $50 a case, because that's not good accounting principles. They stick to the same thing. They're not going to. They have a certain profit margin that they take, and they're gonna do that regardless of what the environment is. And that's the same thing that has to happen if it becomes a currency. It has to be stable enough for the merchant to accept and not take any risk on their end. It's all about reducing the risk. So once we reduce the risk, then maybe there's going to be some sort of stable coin built within a Cardano, or there's going to be some sort of swapping that happens in the blink of an eye that's going to allow people to transact. But until then, I don't see it being more than a niche case. Sorry for that rant.
No, that's fine. I agree in a sense that as long as ADA has a less than 3% a year per growth right now, or as long as ADA's growth is less or equal to inflation, it could be used as a stable coin. That's not likely to happen. Mm-hmm. I think it would grow significantly and then stabilize at some number and maybe way in the future. It's more likely that a stable coin would be created that's backed by an asset, like Libra.
Yes.
Not specifically Libra, just an example.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that was good info. And so you were checking chat? I checked Reddit.
We have a few more questions. Unless you want to get the Reddit, we have a few more questions before we sign off.
No, let's do chat live. Let's hit live.
Okay. So Christian, Serenification said committing on a node is like posting bond. I'm not sure what that means. So Christian Zeladon says, what percentage of circulating ADA do you estimate will be staked of the total circulating supply? Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
Rick, you go first.
I was estimating about 60 to 70%. The problem we'll have is we're not going to hit a high percentage much higher than that, because there's people who bought a year and a half ago who haven't even updated their wallets. They just buy it, throw it aside, and ignore it. And until they see headlines in the newspaper saying Cardano, they're not even going to touch it. They'll just sit on it. They're really long-term deep hodlers. So I'm guessing 60 to 70%. Philippe, your thoughts?
I would agree with you back in the day, but I think that since we've received some sort of delays and Shelly has been a little postponed, I agree with you, Rick, that once the time comes, I don't think it's going to be as massive as it could have been if it was released immediately after, all the hype was put out. So, I if we're going over 50%, that would be great. Hopefully it's over 50%. Hopefully it's like 55 to 60%, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was lower. But Rick and I are going to do our best, and Rick and I each are doing our own staking pools, and I highly encourage people to do their own research, own due diligence. Of course, I highly endorse both of our staking pools, but the choice is yours, and we're going to do whatever we need to do to try to get as many people to stake with our pools as possible, and as many people staking in general. So look forward to that.
Yep. And make sure to check AdaScan, CISA, and Clio.1. Some of them have they will have percent ADA staked charts that will answer that question precisely. Percent ADA staked. You'll see that on some of these websites. I think that's something that they can, they'll definitely be doing that. I'm interested in how much ADA is stale. How much of it is unmoved? It just sits there unmoved. Not stale. That's not a good word for it. All right. Good question. And
Gerald says donated some BAT. You guys are doing a great job. I love this community. Awesome, Gerald. We appreciate you. And whoever wants to support the podcast, the best possible way to support the podcast is to hit that subscribe button, share our content, continue watching us. It really helps out. Just that subscribe button. Trust me, it helps out in our SEO. We're really trying to grow it as much as possible. We've grown pretty big podcast considering the bearish times and how this market has just been beating down everyone. So imagine the amount of people that we can reach once, the legs start running again in the crypto market. So continue supporting us, continue subscribing, continue sharing us our content. And even if you don't like every single episode, just pop in, watch for a couple minutes, pop out, hit like button, hit dislike button, leave us a comment, do something. So we appreciate you.
Yeah, we take critical comments. We don't take them as bad. All feedback is good feedback.
Yes,
and
yes.
we do make improvements based off of that. So don't worry about hurting our feelings.
Yeah,
we'll be okay. We'll be okay. All right, cool.
Enoch,
okay.
Go
for it. You got it.
Okay, so Enoch says, wait, hold on. Goguen won't be released till 2021. Anyone want to take that bet?
I'll take that bet. 100 data. Gogwen's out next year. Only one person though. I can only make the bet with one person. If I make it with like 5,000 people, I'll take all your money. No, I'm kidding. I'll take that bet. 2020, Gogwen's out.
Yeah. Sounds good. Sounds good. That was Enoch, and he says thanks for the show, and he's going to watch football now. Enjoy.
All right.
Enjoy.
Good. Yep. Have fun watching football. Oh man, we're gonna have to do these on Saturday. Thank you, Enoch.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have to do these on Saturday, or we won't have no Americans.
Yeah.
And no, European football has a slightly off cycle when they play soccer and they do football in Europe. So you got to watch out for that too.
Oh yes.
And Japan is baseball. So
greetings from Australia. Thank you, Jeff, for sending us BAT. We appreciate it. Thanks for tuning in. Christian said France is accepting crypto more because of their financial stability. That can boost their sheets. It's a good look for Germany's imminent recession. So I guess it's more friendly in France, which is wonderful. Let me see if there are any more questions. Enoch says, guys, what happens if Plutus gets hacked during the YO hackathon? Can you imagine the delays? Well, it's good that it's still on the test net, and there's a reason why they're beta testing it at a hackathon. If there are issues, then they're going to be solved. I know that when they had the course in Ethiopia, the girls that were taking that class found a couple of vulnerabilities or things that could be improved within the Plutus within the Haskell language that they were developing, which they used as positive feedback to correct certain systems. So developers are going to need to break it, but as long as the core is solid, I think that's all right.
Yeah, that might be part of the point of the hackathon.
Yes. Yes.
Learn something, push the capabilities, create something. And if you find a problem, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Fix it now while it's young, right?
Yes.
All right. Our next Reddit, and it'll be our last. We are at the time. We're hitting that 1 hour point.
Yep.
This was from Reddit user Joel Lee. Thank you, Joel. And thank you to all of our Reddit users, everyone out there on the Cardano forum and the Cardano effect. Thanks. From Joel Lee, he says, a new analysis of EC H1 2019 report suggests that Cardano is where to put your money if you think that developer engagement can predict the market. And this goes back to the number of updates coming through at cardanoupdates.com. This young man is a YouTuber. His YouTube channel is called The Rainbow Table. He's at 65 subscribers. So if you like his video, hook him up. And he goes on to talk about predicting the 6 altcoin winners based upon developer activity. And he touches on Tezos, EOS, Cardano, IOTA, and Stellar. And to be honest with you, I agree with those particular blockchains as far as developer activity. And so you can check out his video. He's got a 21-minute video over there at the Rainbow Table. And he goes over based on developer activity. And I like that. If people take the time to analyze developer activity, results are the number one in my book. Is what do you end up building? What are those results and how do you measure them? Some people measure it by GitHub commits. That's not a perfect measuring stick. It's a good data point. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So the amount of GitHub activity is a good data point. If there's no updates on any blockchain in the last 6 months, yeah, that's also a good data point to say something's going on over there. But there's massive activity on all 6 of those blockchains that he has listed there. And results are important too. But if the results come too quick and the blockchain's broken, then the results are a problem. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So although you can say, well, Cardano doesn't have smart contracts on mainnet yet. That's true. But some of the blockchains that have smart contracts on mainnet, the smart contracts have some issues there.
Yes.
So it's just another data point, but great job. Thank you for posting that, Jolie. Nice work over there at the YouTube channel, The Rainbow Table. Appreciate it. And congratulations on your new YouTube channel and making the Cardano Reddit top 10. That's some good work. So I'm pretty much done. It's a good testament, though, that Cardano has lots of YouTube content, lots of content on Medium, Twitter,
Yes.
blogs. Don't forget to check the IOHK blog. There's a lot of good information on that blog. The updates between the research papers and white papers are on the blog. There are over 46 research papers on the IOHK research. So you just go iohk.io, click on research, and there's 2 tabs underneath, research and library. Check those out. Some of the papers are still in draft, as in they haven't been peer reviewed, but only like 2 or 3. And there's a lot of peer reviewed papers on there. So great place to do your homework if you're interested. And if you don't understand the details of the paper, just be sure to read the abstract. That's what I do. When I get into the math, I kind of like draw a blank and I go, okay, I know what the abstract said. I'm good. Okay, I'm all set, Philippe. I think we're good for the week. We'll check
all
chat.
Right. Okay, I just see a quick question. How many ADA do you need to stake? Just 1 ADA. So if you're watching this video, ADA is like 4.5 cents. So if you're watching and commenting, you can get enough ADA to stake. So just have your 1 ADA. And all the other questions that we didn't get to, next time we're over our time, and we're trying to keep these segmented in an hour each. So people get used to this format. So
one more question I want to hit here real quick. There was can you make a tutorial on how to set up a staking pool? One of them was made by Alejandro Garcia of IOHK. It's on the IOHK website. Check out IOHK. It tells you how to set up a Jormungandr node. Okay. I've got one over on Digital Fortress, and there's a couple other YouTubers who have made how to set up a staking pool node that are still valid. Make sure you know how to use a command line interface. But Alejandro Garcia of IOHK and a couple other people. Check out the YouTube channel, IOHKIO. Yeah. It's YouTube/C/IOHKIO. and they have tutorials, and it'll be up to date, and it's like really good stuff. You know, it's correct. There's people out there who may be a little more lively or creative, but they might also make mistakes like me. But Alejandro, I would put my money on his stuff, man. If I have problems, I go to his videos. That's what I've done. I go, okay, what did he say on his video? All right. So that's it, man.
Okay. All right. Thanks everyone for tuning in to episode 46 of the Cardano Effect podcast. We appreciate you. We appreciate you spending your Sunday with us. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We'll have more videos coming this week. We had our red test, we had our hackers, our white hat hackers that were very experienced. Those episodes are coming this week. So stay tuned for that. And we'll have our live weekly recap next week as well. We're getting great feedback. Thank you. Have a beautiful Sunday. Enjoy your week. Have a beautiful week. Stay positive. Spend some time with family and friends and enjoy your Sunday. We appreciate you. And until the next episode of the Cardano Effect. Bye, everyone.